Hello, good people, and for the Americans in my audience, happy Thanksgiving week. As you may know, Sarah Boone will be sentenced this coming Monday, December 2nd, and this is a day that the court of public opinion has been waiting for since the first time we all laid eyes on one of the most cruel, sadistic, and unusual pieces of digital evidence we have ever seen roll out in a true crime case. A woman who is clearly blackout drunk, taunting and teasing her fiance as he cries out, "Babe, I can't breathe," from inside of a zipped up suitcase, ultimately leading to his death by suffocation.
For everything you've done to me.
Sarah.
For everything you've done to me.
Sarah.
You.
Sarah.
You.
Sarah.
Stupid.
It took 4 years for this case to finally come to trial. And during that 4 years, we were introduced to Jorge Torres' killer through interrogation videos and whiny, condescending, long-winded letters she sent to the court with the express purpose of getting her story out into the court of public opinion. In this video, I'm going to read the main portion of the last letter she sent, at least the last letter we know of, that she sent to Judge Cranick, followed by a letter that I took the liberty of penning from the court of public opinion in advance of her much anticipated sentencing. I will read her letter to the judge in the way I hear her saying the words as she was writing them, in her high-pitched, babyish, "It's not fair, no one understand me, I'm a great person, don't you see that?" tone. And I'm reading this letter ahead of her sentencing to remind everyone of the kind of person we are dealing with, followed by a letter from the court of public opinion that I believe captures our collective disgust. Without further ado, here are the main portions of Sarah Boone's letter to Judge Cranick on June 7th, 2024. Honorable Judge Cranick, ongoing 5 years, why can't I use my constitutional rights? Am I the only one who cares about the ongoing violations of? Have a bond. Have all my medical records. Have all my digital evidence and discovery. Have all my paperwork, notes, letters, pictures, everything of mine returned by former attorneys. Speak to my investigator. Have a complete download of my phone. Have any of my witness lists. Give any insight, understanding, clarification, truths about my case, especially to my attorney. Be listened to by anyone, especially my attorney. Be respected for who I am truly, especially by my attorney, and not be disrespected for the mutated, malicious murderer all the world has falsely, incorrectly created and believes me to be. Be treated fairly, lawfully, and protected by the justice system. Properly, rightfully, completely defend myself. See all and know the same as the world can and does, including my attorney, from all the phenomenal, non-permissive amount of my entire case being available online globally before my trial, and most important, before I have seen myself. What doesn't anyone know already about my case? How about my side in everything about everything? Be correctly understood that I'm not the problem for reasons I am on malappointed by the court attorney number 8. See my letter 72123. Say what I want and should, but all the world can, and say it all wrong and warped. Why can't my attorney ... give me an honest answer? Show me everything she says she has and finished reviewing for my case, but withholds from me after I ask repeatedly for and about. Give me an answer other than, "I'm putting this to rest. That's not necessary," or "I'm not having this conversation with you." Grant me access to anything I ask for in and about my case. Like the detectives in my case, stop putting words in my mouth. Tell me what's going on in my case. It's been well over 100 days since she has been my attorney, and I still do not know, ongoing 5 years. Answer any of my questions. Ever ask me any question? How can she supposedly know everything she needs to know from what she's been told, heard, read, seen? Reassure she's on my side, for me, not against. Why have I already been judged in the court of public opinion? How did that happen? Why have I been sentenced by anticipation and condemned before my predicted trial? Why does my attorney and all the world think my case is already over? Your Honor, during the first introduction at my last withdrawal of court-appointed attorney number 7, Hobson, you stated to me your uninvolvement with any of my letters I write. I am still going to write my letters, as conduitely they are to the world where all my potential jurors are located, and this is the only way anyone, including yourself, knows the very necessary insight to my continued disadvantages, hindrances, impediments I am still experiencing, on top of the new, spurring my intentions to write. The race to the pulpit is unfair, and it is important to me that you are aware and understand what transpires when the news cameras are off and we're all in between my status hearings. 2 are so many of the advantageous embezzlers, racketeers, mindless lemmings, and just altogether mean people can use their freedom of speech, not knowing me in any way other than what's being said by all the other mean people and being said incredibly incorrectly. So can I. As the compelling, annoyed detectives in my case, I'm sure you are familiar with, after watching all my plastered, highly misconstrued, over 30+ million views just on one site interviews, and in which they both repeatedly attempt to feed me their incorrect, incomplete, hypothesized opinion by stating to me everyone has their limits. At this seemingly endless point of perpetuality of nonsense and lawlessness still growing, and I very much want to advance to the next level after ongoing 5 years now. A genuine, concerted limit has been reached. Why am I still not being included in my case? How much more of my case and self is being added hourly, especially after this letter gets loose to the internet, increasing the mass infection and destruction of my hopes to have a fair trial, anything fair, my side foremost, and wondering now if my attorney drank the punch like everyone else. All aforementioned reasons, and so many more, for this letter to be written, hoping to deter some of the unfair, one-sided finger-pointing of corruption and malpractice being directed at me only by those in the justice system, who are trying to deflect the shame and shock from me fearlessly challenging the status quo. And it must be so, because it's my face on the computer at the same time on my boob tube television, brainwashed, ignorant followers of disbelief, conformity, and greed, trying unsuccessfully to make my life by character assassination seem worse than theirs. No, 2. When anyone points their finger, 1, it's impolite, and 2, 3 point back at you. How many tried it to see? Put the stone down, as there will be no casting of anything today, except maybe for the role of my part for all the pre-conclusion documentaries and crystal ball real-life stories of true crime incorrectly formulated from everyone supposedly knowing me and judging who they think I am, what really happened, and is going to futuristically. Remember, 3 point back. Soothsaying is not a real job. To sum it up, in the words of my attorney, after I told her to Google me, she stated, "There's a lot." To sum it up, in the words of myself, the defendant stated to my attorney, after she stated that to me, when can I see? How much longer do I have to wait? Or how many attorneys must be withdrawn for me to be included in my case? And to be included more than the world presently is? This is my case in every aspect. See all my aforementioned ongoing 5-year questions I am still waiting on for answers. Also, I want to make it known I walked out on my attorney in our last meeting due to her unwarranted, uninformative, unprofessional, snotty attitude and her untruthful answers to my questions and beyond. The retarded, vicious cycle we enter every time we meet is a waste of time. And I'm saying that being in jail with supposed endless amounts of. How she treats me is extremely prejudiced, hostile, and unconcerned. She is very frustrating. 1, to balk or defeat an endeavor. 2, to induce feelings of insecurity, discouragement, or dissatisfaction. And 3, to bring to nothing. So much I presented my solution in order to coexist with and work together in a helpful, progressive, positive, appropriate manner. I added pretend judge to our interactions so she could calm down and ease up on her condescension, offensive demeanor, and obvious prejudgment. She seems like everyone else not to remember I am innocent until adjudged otherwise. She treats me as if I am not. After my introduction and explanation for, with pretend judge in the room or on the phone, I am trying to help her understand how she is making herself extremely unwelcoming. When in front of a real judge and in the courtroom is how she should treat me, her client, at all times. I should not have to invent pretend judge in order to be and am not at all wrong for wanting to be respected, no matter the outcome. I am innocent until adjudged otherwise. My attorney, everyone's, should be fair, unbiased, trustworthy, honest, supportive, informative, protective, automatically and effortlessly. I should feel secure, highly confident, proud in her representing my life. I do not, and have said to her many times regarding her monumental disbelief in me and my care, which I believe contributes greatly to her inimical attitude towards me. I am hoping by this letter she will pick up the sword of injustice and fight alongside, not against me, as so many unmotivated, overwhelmed, weak attorneys prior who bowed out ungracefully and crept away from the battlefield unsuccessful. My case equal bizarre, unknown, different, ignorance, misunderstood, unfair. This doesn't mean my case can't equal success, and in more than one way. While everyone continues to ring their bells of malevolence, I am ringing mine of hope, honor, plausibility, boldness. Listen, I am not a murderer. The justice system should equal fair, faith, trust, respect, innocence until and if adjudged otherwise. 3-point back. Sarah Boone. Confused cat meme. Yes, thank you.
And here is the letter that I took the liberty of penning from the court of public opinion. If you don't agree with me, that's okay. I think most of the court of public opinion does. Dear Sarah Boone, the adjudged guilty murderer. Well, it's finally here. The day that the entire internet has anxiously anticipated since the first time we each individually processed the horror of your sadistic cruelty in some of the most shocking and twisted pieces of digital evidence ever displayed in a court of law. A sloppy, blackout drunk woman laughing and sneering as a man in a suitcase said over and over again, "Babe, I can't breathe." Despite all your delusional claims of this being not intentional,
Not intentionally. Know that.
or the result of battered spouse syndrome, your jury came back in a record-setting amount of time, feeling very strong about their verdict. And on December 2nd, just a few days, you will be sentenced after being forced to hear the trauma you inflicted on Jorge Torres' family. In front of a judge and the entire world, you will be forced to hear their pain with the knowledge that We are on their side, not yours. And we know that the court of public opinion is important to you because you abuse the court system by writing long, whiny, self-entitled letters to the judge with the explicit purpose of putting your side of the story into the court of record so we would see it. Yes, Sarah, we saw your letters. And I just read the last one that we're aware of that you sent to Judge Cranick before trial. You truly thought that if you complained in these letters to Judge Cranick about the things that most Americans deal with quietly without complaint on a day-to-day basis, public opinion would see you as a martyr, a victim, collateral damage to grave injustice of an innocent, helpless little flower who someday will be canonized for her bravery in the face of unfairness. We see the exact opposite, Ms. Boone. You say you are exceptional. We agree that you are exceptional, but not in the way you think. You are exceptionally cruel. You are exceptionally sadistic. You are exceptionally grandiose. You are exceptionally self-entitled. You are exceptionally manipulative. You are exceptionally blind to your own true nature. And since we live in a world where attention is attained by people who commit the most shocking and horrifying deeds, you have gained an exceptional amount of attention, which in turn captured the attention of some competent lawyers, and that is about all you have going for you right now. That said, you should know that your appeal has a snowball's chance in hell, but we look forward to seeing you twist and turn through the appeals process, knowing how strongly your jury felt about their verdict. In closing, know this, and know it well. On December 2nd, when you are forced to hear the cries and pain of your victims, we will be crying with and for them and for George, and not for you. Not for the poor little Sarah AI construction you have floating around in your deranged psyche. Sincerely, the Court of Public Opinion. Thank you for watching this video. Please remember to hit the thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out.